week. It was come at a great time for us after 6 straight weeks of conference games. And I thought we had a great bye week. I mean, the big thing about last week was, really a reset for us and recover mentally and physically. And I thought our guys did that. We cut back on practice last week and allowed them some time to heal up. And then and also at the same time worked on a lot of young guys and let them play. And I thought we had a great time with that. That was fun. And so it was a good week. Now, all the while knowing that we had Arizona coming up and then obviously breaking them down, then had an opportunity to watch them play Saturday and get ready for this team, a really good football team. Coach Brendan's done a great job there this year. I think obviously a couple things stand out by them, but I think first off, defensively, new defensive coordinator this year, and they've done an outstanding job. Mixing up fronts, coverages. The guys are playing hard. They're playing physical, creating a lot of turnovers. I think when I first turned on the film, that was probably one thing that stood out. And everybody talks about Fafita. He's a great quarterback. Has done it. I think he started 31 games, so he's done it for a long period of time. And incredible player. Puts pressure on the defense. Some really good wideouts. Good running game as well. I think maybe the running game gets overshadowed by the passing game. But, I mean, they finished the game off against Kansas by running the football in the last drive. So a really good football team. We're excited about, the opportunity that you're sitting here playing in the middle of November, tied for first place in the Big 12. And so we're excited about that opportunity because all our goals are still set in front of us. Obviously got to have a great week of practice this week, and our preparation will determine how we go out and play on Saturday.
Another team that plays a lot of man defense, so you're not as much as Utah. How do you get Brendan kind of through that? He's seen it against Nebraska, against Utah, and you get him to take that next step.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than just Brendan. I mean, I think it's everybody on our offense. It starts with the coaches. We got to put our players in position so they can go make plays. We have to do a good job of staying on the sticks and not getting off schedule. I mean, that's a big piece of it. And then ultimately, guys have to block good up front. We have to run good routes and throw and catch. I mean, so to me, it's everybody has to go out and execute at a high level. And when you're playing really good defenses like Arizona's, you have to execute. And if one or two guys are not executing, then you're going to have a much more difficult time moving the football. And I think we've seen that from Arizona over this season. I mean, they've done some great things on defense and shut down a lot of good offenses.
You held Sawyer Robertson in check. How is Noah different than him?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think Sawyer was 6'5", and Noah's a shorter guy. He's under 6 foot, and Noah's got a lot more ability to move with his feet. I mean, he does a great job of buying time in the pocket, scrambling. He's a scramble to throw guy. Also can run. I mean, again, that last drive last week, I think he hit 2 Q draws in that drive, over 10 yards apiece to go down and score. So he's a much more dynamic runner, but that can throw. I mean, I think he ended up tying for the most touchdowns in Arizona football history. So, I mean, that obviously speaks volumes about how good a player he is.
Both of you were picked, and all the preseason big 12 polls be like in the bottom 4 of the league. They just clinched full eligibility. All their offensive and defensive rankings are in the top 30 in the country. Do you feel like they're underrated for how they've actually performed?
Yeah, absolutely. They really. I mean, I know people say this, but they easily could be here at 8-1 right now. I mean, they're up 10 against BYU with 4 minutes to go in the game, and had that game won. Quite honestly, not obviously BYU did a great job pulling it out, but if one little thing goes, Arizona's winning that game. And then also, I thought they played great against Houston. Houston ends up kicking a last-second field goal to beat them. So you can't get any tighter or closer than that to sit there being 8-1 right now. The only game that they really wasn't in was the Iowa State game, and that was an incredible crowd at Iowa State, white out. I mean, it was an unbelievable atmosphere for Iowa State. So, I think they are underrated at 6-3. I mean, I think they got an outstanding football team. They have team speed. They can run. They're physical. They have good plans in all 3 phases. So that's the recipe for success. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's obviously a big part of their success is creating the turnovers, and they've taken care of the football too on the offensive side. So that turnover margin, which obviously we all know is a huge stat, I think that's why they've had a lot of success this year. They just do a good job of their coaches of putting their guys in position to make plays. They do a lot of things on defense, a lot of different pressures. Linebackers are walking up, off the edge, blitzing. They're not scared to, blitz a safety or a corner. I mean, they're gonna give you a lot of different looks to try to confuse the offense. They got some good tacklers. I mean, 43 is their safety, a leading tackler. I mean, he's a really good player. Number 4, their middle linebackers, another really good one. They have some good D linemen that are quick twitched, that can cause problems when they're one-on-one blocking. And I think they give you a lot of different looks. I know you guys mentioned they play man, but they do a lot of things back in the back end. They'll play quarters, they'll play man, they'll play 3, they'll jump into some different looks to try to confuse the quarterback, and I think that's where quarterbacks have gotten in trouble, throwing into coverage.
Update on Evan, Tawi.
Yeah, I mean they're all improving, getting better. Tawi's, I think he's back to normal now. Evan's making great improvement. And we'll see where we're at by the end of the week, but I'm making great improvement.
How important is that run game for you? They're sticky in pass defense. How important will it be to settle in the run game and get them moving?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this year we've been very efficient in the run game, and one of the better, most efficient teams in the country running the football. We have to be able to run the football, and that comes in a lot of different ways. I mean, it's running at the right time. It's obviously running the quarterback when we need to run the quarterback, but also trying to create some space where our backs can have more room to make people miss, and I think. We have to be able to mix all that in. We have to be able to run the football, control the clock a little bit. Obviously, you'd love to, if we could somehow, have the ball a little bit more than we've had it in some of these games and run some more offensive plays. That would be awesome. But I think for us, it just really comes down to execution up front and starts with our offensive line. They've had a really good year, but this will be another great challenge for the guys up front.
Brendan's only been sacked twice. I think Noah's been sacked several times. I think they got him 5 times in the last game. Do you think you can get to him, or is that when he's dangerous, when he's running out of the pocket?
Yeah, I mean, you'd love to be able to get some pressure on him, to be able to get him. I think Kansas did a great job last week, looking at that film of getting to the quarterback. You mentioned they sacked him 5 times, and they were back there some more times as well. But he is slippery. He does a great job of moving around, like you mentioned. If you do flush him out, well, now – he's on a perimeter. He's looking down the field, and if you lose some coverage somewhere, he's going to make you pay. So he's a tough guy to cover, to defend. So we got to do a good job, again, of mixing it up, not playing the same defense out there, some of the same things we talked about. Try to get him off schedule. I think that's the biggest thing for us. And, and the guys up front need to have a great game.
Golday went out the last game. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's good. He had a great week last week.
Obviously, it's been a while since the Utah game, but after being able to break down that film, some people might be saying, like, is the blueprint out on the Cincinnati offense? Is there anything you would have done differently, or was that just really well schemed up by their defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's a lot of things involved with that, where we played, when we played, how they play. I mean, it was a lot. I think they're a good football team. Their scheme was really good. We didn't exploit it. Obviously, there were some things we would do different, I think, if we played them again. Obviously, you got to execute better as well. We didn't execute great, I don't think, in that game. But they had a lot to do with it. I mean, of what they were trying to do to us, and they got good players, man. I mean, so you put all that together, and I think that's what ended up happening. I mean, I think we moved the football. We had 400 and some yards, and we didn't score enough points, with the way the game went, and obviously it's a team game, so you got to play good on both sides of the ball when you're playing a team like that. But yeah, obviously we do things a lot different. But I also think you're gonna do what you do, like whatever your scheme is, like you're gonna try to do that at a high level. I don't think you're necessarily gonna try to do something somebody else did. You may maybe lean a little bit more toward maybe that, but you're gonna do what you do. I think whoever you're playing.
Cyrus is second in the nation in touchdown catches, so obviously the receivers are a lot better. Back to Joe, do you see are people just doing things completely different, or is it just the receivers are better than last year, so he's not necessarily the top target, or is it a combination of things?
I think it's a little bit of both of that. There's been times this year where we've tried to, call Joe's number, and you look and there's two dudes on him. It's hard to get the ball to him. I think the other side of that is, like you mentioned, I mean, we do have some guys on the outside that we feel like can win, and they have made good plays for us this year. And spreading the ball out. If you look at our, distribution of the balls to the wideouts, I mean, it's pretty even. I mean, and then you put Joe in there, you put some running backs in there, and you obviously want to run the football. So I feel like our balance as far as that has been really good this year, because you're not necessarily can just try to defend one guy. You try to defend this one guy, then we're going to beat you with some other guys. And I think that's probably the product. Is why he doesn't have as much production.
Special teams has been outstanding all year. They had a hiccup against Utah. How do you address a unit that has been as good as they've been, but then had kind of a bad week?
Yeah. I mean, we challenged them, last week about, playing at a high level in teams, and I think, even we've got some guys that hadn't played as much on the teams that are wanting to step up to the plate and say, hey, put me in. Let me go out there and play some teams, and even if that's a rep or two on a punt team or a punt return team, I think that speaks volumes to our team about these guys care and they want to do everything they can to help us win. So I think we got a little bit of that. But it takes the kick. The punts have to be right. The kicks have to be right as well. So it's a little bit of all that. And I think last week was a good reset for us in the teams. And I think, obviously, you got to play at a high level with the special teams each and every week. Arizona does a great job in the special teams as well. And so you got to go out and play at a high level. But I think the fact that we have some players wanting to step up and maybe they hadn't played a lot of special teams that want to play it, that says a lot.
Most of your wins, you've had like really productive first halves. How important is it to do that again, given that I think 18 of Fafita's 23 touchdowns are first half touchdowns, kind of like Brendan, same way. He's had really good first halves.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's an interesting stat of how they've done a really good job first half as well. For us, it's been the same. So you obviously want to come out in hot. You want to come out starting on fire in the first quarter. That kind of sets the tone for the game, I think. If you can go out there and play well and you get a lead on somebody, then, obviously you're going to see how the game goes. But you'd much rather play from ahead than trying to play from behind. So I think obviously both teams want to come out and try to have a hot start.
Would you rather play at 9 a.m. or 10:15 p.m.?
9 a.m. I mean, you think about like in the spring or in August, you go out and practice during that time. You have scrimmages at that time. How many teams do you know that in the spring or August practice at 10:30 at night? I don't know any. You got to get that. Well, yeah, I know. That's why we don't do it. But everybody's up at 9 a.m.
Do you ever think about, when you have that 10-15 kick, pushing practice back to the evening to try to just get adjusted a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we've thought about everything, and also think about teams that do practice in the morning that play at 7:30 at night. They practice all week at 7:30 in the morning, and then they go play at night. So I don't know that really matters. Obviously, if it did, we'd do it. I mean, if it was practicing it from 8 to 10 or 10, whatever. I mean, we also have school. We also have normal, the schedule that you have. So it's really difficult, I think, to do that because now it pushes you back. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that I think we should, as a whole, and I don't know who would be over this, maybe TV, just to not allow an East Coast team or West Coast team have to play at the earliest time or the latest time. Yeah. There's 4 windows every Saturday. So why would you not put those teams in the middle? 3:30. Let's just say if you're traveling, all the way across country, you're going to be the 4 o'clock kick. That just makes sense for everybody. That doesn't seem like that'd be that hard to do. So, and I would say every team would be in favor of that. If you're, an East Coast team or a West Coast team, because we're dealing with it in the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12 now, where teams are having to do that. Don't ask a team to have to do that. I just think it'd be fair for both sides.
Any questions for Coach?
I got one. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Coach, obviously you guys are in the mix big time in Big 12. How much are you talking about that, kind of preaching that during this final stretch ahead of a chance to play for a Big 12 title?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly talked about it last week. You know, after the Utah game, I pulled up all our goals that we had from camp, and they're still intact. You know, for us, we're still competing for a Big 12 championship. That's what it's all about. You're sitting here in the middle of November. If you asked me in the first of the year, would this what you want? Absolutely, this is what we want, to be playing for a championship in the middle of November. So it's a huge game, a huge opportunity for our guys, one that our guys need to take full advantage of.
Logan, obviously the Utah game didn't go how you guys wanted. As a captain, as part of the leadership group, how do you attack the bye week and try to get that out of guys' heads and get refocused?
It's just having great preparation and practice. Just going to practice hard on the bye week. Just knowing what we needed to do, what we needed to fix, and just go back to the basics, honestly, and just get back to the routine and things.
You guys, as a unit, only have 2 interceptions. Arizona State has 12. What have you seen of this latest quarterback, and do you see opportunities for picks there? I mean, I guess you can't really predict that, but that would seem to be a goal.
Yeah, quarterback actually pretty good, honestly. I like his game. Look downfield, moves around in the pocket. So, I mean, they throw the ball a lot. Kind of remind me of like Baylor. They like to throw the ball. So, I mean, it's going to be opportunity. We just got to make plays.
Did you see kind of an emphasis in wrapping up and tackling in practice this past week, and how the other guys responded?
Yeah, absolutely. We run into the ball. We being physical, punching the ball out, and everybody pursuing. That's just the emphasis that we Coach B preached last week on defense. Honestly, by week do it, and then today in practice we got to do it as well. So we just got to keep things going and keep being consistent with it.
This could be a silly question, but when you see those guys like kind of try to lower their shoulder and just lay a big hit instead of wrapping up, is that not really what is taught, or is that more you fly to the football, you try to make a big hit, and it just ends up not working out?
I mean, you can look at those any type of way you want to. I mean, just the way to run the dude with the ball is running with the full ball, and just, you know, in your body you feel like you can make it play like without wrapping up, you know. So it's really hard to tell, but I mean, now they do preach to wrap up for sure.
Logan, walk us through what this bye week was for you. Obviously, about 10 days there in preparation. Were you able to sit back, do a lot of the recovery aspect, or were you able to kind of sit back and enjoy some football yourself? Obviously, a lot of Big 12 football that was played, but
Right.
what were you able to take away from the bye week?
Recovery, for real, honestly, recovery. And I just really just sat back, just chill, stay off my feet. Honestly, just watch the games. It was some good games this week.
After having about 51,000 and change yelling nasty things at you, are you happy to get back in Nippert to some friendly people?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I feel like the team is ready to get back into the nip, honestly.
What do they do offensively that's made them so successful passing the football?
Just quick reads, honestly. They look for the quick throws, open access throws. Like I said, quarterback does a good job getting out the pocket, escaping from, you know, D linemen or linebackers blitzing, and he just does a great job just looking downfield and just making the right throw.
Playing that field corner, you're off a lot. Mm-hmm. How do you prepare for that? A team that's going to try to throw quick and, you know, maybe try to throw free access in front of you.
Just a lot of game film, a lot of just knowledge, just knowing when the quarterback likes to release it. Just looking at his shoulders and just like the palm of his hands, how he likes to release it and let the ball go. So, I mean, nothing really would change into the game plan.
I have questions for Taryn.
Taryn, when you guys have had success this year, it's been jumping out early, getting ahead of teams and kind of playing from the lead. That didn't happen against Utah. How important is it to get back to that here against Arizona this week?
Yeah, we got to make it our identity for the rest of the season, starting fast. The rest of the teams we got on our schedule are very good, and Arizona's, a 6-3 team. They're bowl eligible, and we got to be ready for everything that they're going to bring.
You feel your guys are healthy behind you, and if not, you have confidence in Manny and whoever else?
Yeah, I got complete confidence in whatever running backs we have back there. Utah wasn't our best game, as everybody saw, and we worked on those issues during the bye week, and we're ready to get back on the field and prove ourselves correct.
Do you think that you guys can play the best football you've played all season, and you guys have performed very well. But these next 3 games are going to kind of ask for your best. Do you think you can give that and get to another level these next 3 games?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good challenge for the next 3 weeks. You know, I think the first half of the season was very productive on all sides of the ball. Whenever the offense is down, the defense is up. Whenever the defense is down, the offense is up. The special teams has been great all year. So, you know, just putting in the work during this bye week has really helped us, you know, refocus and, you know, find ways we can get better. And I think we have a great game plan going in to Saturday.
So looking forward to Arizona. Obviously, they do a lot of different things schematically on the defensive side of the ball. They can love to bring the pressure, drop a couple more into coverage. What stands out about this defense, and what do you see when you see it, and how to be prepared for Saturday?
They do a lot of things, and they do a lot of things differently. You know, whether it's linebackers on the ball and pass pro dropping out, or, you know, whether it's in the run game having, you know, a little Christmas tree look where you got an eyes front and a linebacker over top. You know, they do a lot of different things. And schematically, you know, they're just trying to, you know, hit their gaps. And we worked on a little bit this past bye week and worked on Sunday and planning on working on it today, and just understanding the looks and who to ID is probably going to be the biggest part. You know, there's a lot of movement up front with games in the run game, and that's something we really haven't seen all year. So having this game under our belt will kind of prepare us for the rest of the season as it goes on.
With the bye week, does it kind of feel like it's a 3-game season now? Like everything's reset in terms of what you can do?
Yeah. Last week during the bye week, we focused on resetting that goal of getting to Dallas, and, you know, really just making sure that the whole team knows that, you know, we got everything right in front of us. We got everything set where we want. We went out, we're in Dallas, and that's the main goal right now.
Everybody always says the bye week came at a good time. It could be week 1. The bye week came at a good time. Did it hit at the right spot for you guys after 7 straight games and, you know, maybe wearing down a little bit, 6 straight games wearing down a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me personally, you know, coming off a loss, there's a lot to get better at. And so to have a bye week that's after the game like that, you know, it really helps with refocusing the team. And then personally, my body feels a whole lot better than it did, you know, in the previous weeks. So just getting that mental reset, it's very important for us. You know, just relaxing, watching a little bit of ball, and, you know, not worried about having to play a game on Saturday. It really helps.
Was playing at 10:15 in Utah tough, being you're on an Eastern time clock, and then with Arizona coming, do you feel it'll be tough for them when their clock it'll be 10 a.m.?
You know, I don't pay much attention to whether we play, you know, 10:15 Eastern or whatever it may be. You know, it might have had an effect here and there, but, you know, I think we came out ready to play. It's just we didn't execute.
What's the excitement level for this team knowing what's ahead? Knowing, of course, you're taking it one game at a time, but if you go 1-0 3 times, you're in Dallas.
Yeah, I think the whole team's really excited. You know, they know what's at stake, and everything's right in front of us, and that's just the mentality we got to have, and just go 1-0 each day. Go 1-0 today on a Tuesday practice and have a great practice, and you know, let the chips fall where they lie, and you know, we're going to do everything in our power to win these next 3 games.
To Aaron, obviously being a guy from Ohio, it's a little cold out there right now. Saturday's supposed to be about 60 degrees. Being a guy from Ohio, would you wish it would kind of be that winter weather for you guys in this matchup, or what's your thoughts on that?
I love a good 50-degree weather on game day. You know, you can get warm enough where, you know, you're ready to go, but you're not, you know, sweating and dripping sweat, and, you know, so I like a good 60, 50, but cold weather is, it's nice for sure.
Brendan, the analytics say you've been better against zone than man. Do you feel like it's different one way or the other? Is one giving you more trouble than the other? And how much does Arizona control that, because they do a bunch of different stuff, including play a lot of man?
Yeah, you know, some teams have played man against us, and naturally it's going to be harder. It's going to be some tighter throws and whatnot. So we got to do a better job of, you know, just scheming up some stuff as far as just trying to get a little bit of rub routes or whatever it may be. If teams do want to play man against us, and, you know, that's one thing me and Sat are talking about. And I see you got the cough now. I'm dealing with it. It hit me again too. So thanks, Chad. I think I got it from you again. So Maybe I did. All right, back to what I was saying though, Chad. No, yeah, I've had a couple struggles versus man, but sometimes it's just throwing the ball away. Sometimes it's just trying to be too precise with the ball, not giving my guys enough of a chance. So we expect teams to play man against us going forward, but we'll be ready for it.
First off, I do have some cough drops. Do you need some?
I'm good, Scott. I'm
All
good.
right. How important is it to have a healthy, non-coughing backfield?
It's important, but I've dealt with it probably since Iowa State. I think I lost my voice, and then my throat was a little irritated, and then I kind of got sick, and so I've been dealing with it since then. So, should be fine going forward, but we'll see what happens. And my running backs are fine; they'll be all right. They deal with it.
When you looked back at the Utah film, what were the biggest takeaways? Were there plays there that could have been made that you didn't see, or was it just schemed up well from the Utes?
No, they played a really good game, and they had a great game plan for us. They came out and they brought a ton of pressure and, played really good coverage, made it tough on us for sure. So we just got to find a way to be efficient on first down and keep ourselves out of that, know that they're going to pressure and there's really not much we can do about it situation. So going forward, it's got to be one of our main goals, which it always is be first down efficient. And, if we can stay on the sticks and get that first down and get the momentum going, I think we're pretty good at putting points on the board, but we just got to find a way to do that.
The balls batted down at the line have not been much of a thing for you this year.
Yeah.
What was that were did they anticipate you guys were going to try to go quick and maybe drop the tackles? Is there anything you saw that they did a little different than what teams have been doing?
Yeah, I think, interior-wise, they weren't generating a ton of pass rush. I think, they were getting most of their rush from their edge guys. We knew they were going to be really good going into it. And their interior guys would just know that we would get the ball out quick and, just kind of sit on it and jump up and bat them down. So did a good job of it. Like I said, great game plan for them going into the week. But it's another thing we probably got to account for going forward is that teams are probably going to, have that same mentality as far as, if we're not getting to the quarterback, just be ready to get your hands up. So we'll find a way to get around it and find a way to move forward.
Brendan, Arizona is a team that has 18 total turnovers, 12 of those coming by interception. They do a lot of different things on the defensive side of the ball. When you're watching them, breaking them down, physical defense, what stands out to you the most about this Arizona defense that prevents those struggles for opposing quarterbacks?
Yeah, they're just, sometimes quarterbacks are trying to force it into some coverage, and they do a good job of creating turnovers, and other times it's just finding a way to get a hand on a ball and punching it out. They're trying to get it out every time that you're running the ball. So they're a good defense. The stats speak for themselves, but we got to go out there and execute or else, it'll be a long day for us. We feel good about our game plan going into it, and, we feel like this is going to be a good game for sure. Obviously, it's another Big 12 game, so it'll be a fun one, but they're a really good team and a really good defense.
Was that fumble in the red zone more you being a little loose with it, or did the Utah guy make a good play to punch it out?
I felt like my ball security was pretty good on it. He made a really good play on it. Regardless, I got to find a way to end up on the ground with that one.
I asked Coach this, but so Cyrus leads or second in the nation in touchdown receptions. Your receivers are obviously a little more talented this year. No offense to the guys last year that are listening, but Joe still needs to be involved in the game. What do you see different, or is it just the fact that the other guys tend to be more open?
No, I said this probably, I don't even know, maybe a few weeks ago as far as, I've had games with 12 completions and 11 completions. It's not like, many guys are getting the ball. Cyrus had 100-something yards, but he had 2 receptions. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just a matter of we got to find a way to get more completions, and naturally the ball will find Joe. We think and believe that he's one of the best tight ends in the country, if not the best. We got to find a way to get him the ball. But we got to find a way to just get the ball to all of our playmakers because 11 completions is not going to win you a football game if you're 11 for 33 or, you know what I'm saying? So it's just we got to find a way to be more efficient in the pass game, and naturally, Joe will benefit from that.
Got the basketball hoodie on today. You going to be at the game tonight?
I will. I will be at the game tonight. And I just told Stipe on the way in here, supporting the basketball team. Repping a little Jordan basketball, little Cincy hoodie. So I'm excited. The team looks good this year, so it'll be a fun one.
3-game season. I talked to Taryn about this. Does it feel like it's a 3-game season, and how do you prevent kind of letting that pressure get to you and maybe pressing a little bit, knowing how important all 3 of these games are?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-game season to us, and that's the mentality we're taking into it. But it's really just a 1-game season each week. We're focusing on going 1-0. I don't think the pressure is going to be too much for us. I don't think any of us are going to try to press, but we know what's at stake, and we're excited for the challenge and the opportunity that's ahead. And we're going to do everything we can to take it 1 week at a time, find some wins, and end up in Dallas at the end of the year.
With the adjustments that you might make, you talked, like you and Sat have been talking about it. Do you think that this offense can go to an even better level than it had been before?
Yeah, I mean, it just all comes down to execution. If we execute, we're one of the best offenses in the country. But it all starts with execution. At the end of the day, we can draw up stuff and do all these things in the film room and, on the practice field. But if you don't do it on game day, then, it doesn't really matter. So we got to go out there on Saturday and execute. And if we do that, we'll be good.
How much more preferable is this game time situation? You get up and just get to go and play rather than getting up and hanging around all day long, and then it's 10:15 on your body clock, and everybody in the stadium hates you.
Yeah, no, this will be a fun environment for sure. It's always nice to just get up and get going, like you just said. And we're excited for the opportunity. We're excited to get back out there. Obviously a bad taste in our mouth from the Utah game, but we put it behind us. We're excited for the opportunity ahead.
You're wearing the basketball hoodie. If I gave you a basketball right now, you can throw one down?
I should be able to. As I get old, the knees are getting bad and stuff. So, no, I could definitely throw one down, Scott. Don't try me.
What's your dunk contest dunk?
Okay, Chad, I'm not like just a freak athlete. I'm just a 1 and 2 hand dunk guy. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't really dunked since Nico's off season, so maybe I got a little bit more bounce in me right now. I don't know.